Good morning, everyone. Thank you for hopefully watching my video today. I don't know when you'll do that. Nonetheless, here is my demo on how to make the actual object. We talked about relics and reliquaries in the last video. What relics were, what defines a relic, and then what a reliquary is. And now we're going to make one. So hopefully you found your relic. For this one, I know I said I made my relic was a Lego in the last one. I already made it. It's right there on the wall. But I'm going to make a new one. And for this one, my relic is this rubber band here. Rubber band is significant to me because when I was growing up, my neighborhood gang and I, we just play all the time. And it's just a really good time. And they taught me how to do this thing where you shoot a rubber band, kind of like a pistol, like this. Boo. Now it's over there. But it just kind of reminds me of my friends Preston and Hayden from I was like 6 and 5. It was just a good time. So the journeys we had running around the neighborhood, that's my relic, rubber band. So we're going to make a reliquary for it. To start out, on the tools that I am using, pin tool just broke, rad. It'll work though. I have my pin tool here, very handy. I have my fettling knife, which for me, I don't have one. I have an X-Acto, but they're pretty much the same. I have a bendy rib tool, aka Costco card. I actually use this anyway. Yeah, I think they're perfect. And then I also have a stiff rib tool here, my favorite little shark fin guy. They're perfect. So those are my 4 tools that I'll be using. I also have a little bowl, and this bowl has water in it. Right now it has a whole bunch of clay too, but pick a bowl that you don't have attachment to that much. Sometimes clay gets dirty as a bowl. Nonetheless, working at home is kind of interesting because it's not a clay studio, so mess is a big deal. Using your card or your rib tool to kind of continuously clean up, just like that. Putting scraps in your water bowl is really helpful, especially, mom or dad gets mad at you. In case it's my roommates, probably get pissed at me for making clay in the living room, but I do it all the time. It's fine. So let's get started. Today we're going to make 2 pinch pots. One is going to be on top of the other. I'm just going to, some of you guys know how to make a pinch pot, but just for the sake of demo, I'm going to make another one. So here we go. I have all my tools laid out here so y'all can see them. Broken pin tool will work fine. This here, boom, skedaddle. Alright, so I have a ball of clay. This ball is about the size of a plum. Right here. Glasses for reference, right? Or here, card for reference. There you go. I think of it as a plum or like a cutie, one of those little clementine situations. I'm going to knead it a little bit. It's hitting your hand. I like to find a beat. Alright. Just trying to get all those creases out. Wonderful. Make it into a nice ball. Good enough. Alright. I'm going to take my thumb. I'm going to put my thumb in the clay ball. I have it just a little bit in there. My thumb's about to here. I'm going to put my hand on top and kind of push down a little bit more. And you can kind of feel when you're getting close. Close is about 1/16 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch. It's totally fine. So now here we are. I have a potato on my thumb. Wonderful. Now the pinching begins. Remove your thumb. I want you to make this shape. It's like a C, like an OK kind of thing, or like a early mad llama. This is the shape you want to make repeatedly. You're making this motion, right? That's why it's called a pinch pot, because pinching. So here we go. My thumb's in there. Things right here. I might hold my clay right here. I like doing this in the air. You're welcome to do it on the table too, with put it on your card or your rib tool, whatever you have on hand, so it kind of spins. I prefer working in the air, just because then I can Look at this. So now you get to watch me make this pinch pot. Yeah. Might as well chat, right? I'm making sure it's even thickness up the whole thing. And I'm touching every single square inch of this clay. This is why hand building's so cool, is because you're touching every single bit of this piece of clay. And not only does it make the form that you want, it makes it super strong. You'll notice, so we have this nub here, look at that. It kind of creates this wave going up. So the wave starts right there, the little crest. You're kind of pushing that wave up, and that's what makes the pinch pot a pinch pot. It slowly grows out. So just ride that wave. I also like to think of this as mowing a lawn. Grew up mowing a lot of lawns. And it's the same motion over and over again in kind of rows. Yeah. You can't finish, you can't start one row until you do the next. You can't start the next row before you do the other one, if that makes any sense. Gosh. You make these videos and sometimes you just don't even know what you're talking about, I swear. Well, I hope home life's good. I've been enjoying chilling at home for sure. It's been nice. Felt a little bit ill on Monday and it kind of freaked me out, so I ended up getting a COVID test. And I have not got the results back yet, but nonetheless, I feel fine. No one knows what this stuff feels like, and it's kind of like if you feel anything, you get freaked out by it. I just want to be safe. So that's why I haven't been in class. But I feel fine. I really feel okay. I just had a bit of a sore throat and a headache, no fever. I don't really tell you what this stuff feels like. Then, of course, the election's going on. That's just anxiety ridden. Sometimes I'm kind of going back and just touching little areas that might be of uneven thickness. I got a little air pocket there, no problem. Just squeeze that. Boop. That's because I didn't knead it well enough. What else can we talk about? Oh, I've been listening to a new artist. Name is Twain. Super good. Recommend it. It's kind of like, not folksy. I don't know what to call it. I don't know genres anymore. Good music's just good music, you know what I mean? But yes, there are genres. These are things you can think about while you're while you're making your pinch pot. That's why I really love pinch pots. It's my favorite way to make. Most of my stuff is actually, so I start with a pinch pot and then I add on top of that something else. It's just a really strong base I've found. I can do it at my house. I don't need any equipment. That's what I love most about that, is the versatility and just accessibility of a pinch pot. This summer I'd work outside. I just had a piece of wood, a board, and I'd work in my lawn, and it was just so nice. I just on the grass with a board and some clay, and I used just a card, just like that, and a little knife. I actually used a butter knife. I didn't have an X-Acto then. That's what I love most about pinch pots. And if you get really good at them, oh man, my professor in MSU, what he said is, I like his mantra about pinch pots is that you can tell that the clay's been touched, like it has been made by human hands, and I think that's just so beautiful, especially nowadays where a lot of things are machine made. Just to have something that's been lovingly handled by a human being is just so darn wholesome. It's just wonderful. We have this cup. We have a massive cup collection. We have this one cup that's a pinch pot. made by Two Hold Studios. Highly recommend, look them up. And gosh, it's just, you want to hold it in your hand. You know, it's just so nice and soft and quiet. And yeah, you can tell it's been touched, and I really like that. They didn't, a lot of times people burnish out the touch marks, which we're probably going to do in this lesson. But this one did not. This cup I'm referring to, the Two Hold Studio Cup. And it's just lovely. It's absolutely lovely. It's my favorite cup. I think it cost like $70. My roommate bought it. It's incredible. Okie dokie. Almost done, guys. Just hold on. Right now I'm just pinching the top here. I'm not worried too much about cracks or anything. We'll get those out later. Not obsessing, just kind of breathing and pinching some clay as if I were a very excited grandmother, and all pinching her grandchild's cheeks. Pinch, pinch, pinch. Yep. All right. So I have relatively okay pot. This is hard mediocre. If I were just to leave this as is, I'd be like, no. But we can make it. We can take it one step farther. I'm kind of all about getting it even thickness, so I'm just gonna go through, pinch some things. There we go. Good enough. All right. This is going to be the top of our reliquary. Here, let me grab my example really quick. This is one I made last night. Out of kind of a fury. A true fury. I like my example more. That's in school, but sadly I'm not there. This one kind of I went wild with. I'll try to put my relic there. All right. Here it is. Ta-da! So basically just 2 pinch pots, a whole bunch of texture, and 3 added on pieces. And there's my relic. Great. it should be better secured. My plan is to epoxy it in when this is fired. Nonetheless, a lot of texture, a lot of crazy things going on, but yeah, just a pinch pot and attached to each other. So this will be our top right here. Okay, so your relic is unique to you. Tells a story. It's awesome. I love using assignments to get to know you guys. It's more fun, you know, especially when you're grading. You're like, oh, this means something. Way more fun than I don't know. Nothing's pointless, but it's just more fun when something is personal. So this is the top of our reliquary. It needs to be kind of fit to the size of your relic, right? Like every relic is different. But also it needs to sit on top of our other pinch pot. So therefore the diameter, so you know, the circumference of our pinch pot on top needs to be smaller than this one, right? To do that, we're going to make some cuts. So grab your fettling knife, and all you're going to do is cut 3 triangles. So one's going to be right here. I'm going to start about right there. Just not too far up. I'd say 75% up to the top. Make a cut straight down. All right. You see that? There we go. Yeah, there we go. Not bad. So we have a little cut in our pot. No big deal. I'm then going to make another cut starting at the top. Again, see where my knife is. Rad. Thank you for the text. Make another cut down here. So make a right angle triangle. So see that cut right there? The right angle, and I'm gonna make another one. So 2 right angle triangles, making 1 big triangle, and I'm gonna take them out. Boop, and then it's a good opportunity to kind of see what your thickness is and how even your pinch pot is. So it's kind of fun. These scraps can be put in your bowl. Boop. All right. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, trying to get right on. So right here is my one triangle, and so I'm going to go right across from that triangle and do the same thing. Straight down. One right angle triangle and two right angle triangles. All right. My relic, being a rubber band, I'm going to make mine really small. So my circumference is going to be even smaller. So I'm going to do this again and again. So I'm going to have 4 triangles. Wonderful. Scraps. I might actually keep this clay, a little ball right there, use for later. And then one more on the other side. When you're handling this as wet clay, be gentle. Slow down. I'm not just telling you that, I'm telling myself that. I tend to do things too quickly. I don't know, I think it's just a part of being a a burgeoning adult. Burgeoning means like about to be. Alright. So, now that I have all these triangles cut, let's see if I can show you guys. Just like that, boop, boop. I'm not going to fold them in. So to do that, we're going to utilize our scoring tool. I like the pin tool for scoring. And I'm going to score just, what is it, my right side. Really get in there. Don't worry about how it looks. Go around and score them all. Wonderful. Score and score. Cool. Now comes the fun part. I'm going to take each side here and fold it onto each other. So one is going behind and one's going in front. This takes some finesse. I'm going to pick up my pot and then pinch them down. Wonderful. Do that on each side. I'm just going to get them started. So I'm not solidifying them in yet. Alright. There we go. Please stop texting me. Alright. There we go. Alright. So now I have a pinch pot with a smaller diameter. As you see, I have each one folded onto each other. And now we're going to smooth that in. Seal it, if you will. Yeah. I'm just taking my finger. I'm just going to put my thumb back there and dragging the clay across. Wonderful. I don't want to see these creases, so I'm going to weld them in all the way. It's really easy to do in the clay is that this consistency. And do the inside too. Right on. All right, with hand building is what we're doing, building with the hands. You have the opportunity to really manipulate your form. If you want a symmetrical object, it's really handy just to look above it, and then you can be okay. I need to do little movements, there's little pushes, you know, itty bitty pushes to make this the shape you want. And it's just amazing, like each little itty bitty push will solidify the clay there, right? Like clay will stay as you put it, and any little push counts. I also want to get my bottom flat, so I'm just going to tap it. My bottom a little bit flatter. And I'm just going to pinch through right here. Just refining my shape. How wonderful. Okay, I'm then going to grab a new ball of clay and make another pinch pot. But because I planned ahead, I already made it. So you guys don't have to watch it. Nonetheless, I'm going to grab another ball and grab about the same amount, plum size. You go a little bit bigger on this one. This is... Now we're making the base, so you can go a little bit bigger. That's totally fine. But you're going to grab another cutie size ball, plum size ball of clay. Again, card for reference. And make a pinch pot. Magic of video. Oh, I guess magic of demonstration, whatever you want to call it. I already did. So here's my pinch pot. See, it's nice and smooth. I'm going to do a couple things to this base here. It needs to have a flat spot on it. These are going on the wall, and they need to hang flat to the wall. I highly recommend finding a card, but your rib tool will also work. See this 90-degree angle? It's kind of what we're using. And I want you to scrape the side of this so there's a flat part. What I do is I just make sure my pot's flat on the ground, and then I use this tool also on the ground, and I just slowly scrape away some clay. And your rib tool or card, whatever you're using, will get little bits. Put these bits in your receptacle, aka your water bowl. Don't dirty up your house. And that's a great sound. I like using my card more. Wonderful. Let's make this nice and flat. Nice and flat spot. Doesn't have to be that big. You'll notice because our cards have a little fillet there, you can call it fillet, like a rounded part. There's going to be a little rounded part on there. Not to worry. Take your knife. You're just going to cut that off. Boop. Wonderful. Alright. So now we have a relatively flat spot. It doesn't have to be perfect. See that? Simple. I'm then going to make my wall attachment. Now, who's ever seen... it's just kind of a very common wall hanging way. Attachment, excuse me. So, there's room for the nail to go in right there, and then when gravity takes over, it slides down into that bracket, and it keeps it on the wall. So we're going to make one of those. Pretty easy. Take your fettling knife. I know I have an X-Acto knife. It will work the same. We're going to use it as a drill. Just by spinning your fettling knife around in the clay, can you see this? You can kind of make a hole. So find a spot just above the ground. Spin, spin, spin. And my video cut out. Technology and I do not get along well, but here we are. So I hope you're at the spin, spin, spin part. So I spun my X-Acto knife to get a nice hole in my clay body right on that flat spot that I've just made. Little bits. And then I'm going to make the square above my hole. So again, this looks like this. Hole and then little rectangle above. So my fettling knife, I'm going to make a line right above it. Just one cut. I'm going to come in that with another one. And make it a little bit wider. And then cut the top off. Little precise maneuvers. Wonderful. Alright, now I have my wall hang piece right there. Ding! Wonderful. Good job, Ned. Alright. So now comes the fun part. I'm going to go back to my pinch pot here, and it's time to make it smooth. I want it to be just me being me. This is not a requirement. I want mine to be symmetrical. So I'm going to go through here, kind of pinch it down a little bit. Maybe find some places where my pinch pot is not uniform thickness. Give it a couple taps. Then I'm going to take my rib tool and my card. If you have a bendy rib tool, it's like the same thing. I just I've always liked using cards. And I'm going to just delicately kind of scrape it smooth. Again, you get little detritus there. Put it in your scrap bowl. So your mom doesn't yell at you. You got clay on the ground. And it sticks in between her toes. And that's no bueno. Starting at the bottom here. Can't tell, sorry, I'm just kind of working my way up. Little bits at a time, guys. Little bits at a time. Sometimes I might, be pushing it in. You can kind of see the profile view here. Whenever I work hand building, I like to look at my clay body as if this were a line that I'm creating right here. I want that line to be, just in my mind, I just want it to be straight and then curve over, so I can just go back in if I bent it in just by smoothing and just kind of bring that back out. No problem. Alright, now comes another time where you're just going to watch me do this for a while. I know demos don't usually last as long. You're welcome to skip through. I figured, why not? Yeah. You can talk about how I wish I was in class. So, I wish I was in class because I wanted to talk to you guys about one in the lecture. I wanted to hear your blanket stories. I think those are awesome. Like how as a child, you had this object that meant so much to you. And I love how, you don't question a child when they have those things. You don't question that. You're just like, yeah. I remember I wanted to have one. I tried so hard because, older sister had one and I wanted to be exactly like my older sister. And I had this lemur stuffed animal and just didn't click. I don't know why. It was just it didn't become alive to me. And then I tried a pillow, just strange. And then Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends came on. I don't know if you know the show. It's about a house for forgotten imaginary friends. Wholesome. And I tried the whole imaginary friend thing, and it just didn't stick. Something about it, it just wasn't. Maybe my imagination sucked or something. It just didn't work. I couldn't get emotionally attached to it. Maybe I just didn't feel anything. Dark kid. I don't know. I really wanted that though. My sister, she had a teddy bear and a blanket. She was the classic kid, wielding both things. And it's just, oh man, I wanted to be that, but it didn't happen. I didn't have a pacifier forever, okay guys. I was until I was 3 or 4. I promise. Not if you did. It's not a problem. I just I don't know. I think it's why I think it's kind of gross. Maybe I should make a reliquary for my pacifier. That's a good idea. But just the idea of it being in your mouth and you have this soggy rubber thing that kids chew on. Yeah, it just kind of grosses me out a little bit. Nonetheless, I had one, so I respect them. Yeah. Yeah, but I miss being in class because I want to talk to you guys about that. I think that was a fun conversation to have. Also, I just wanted to see you guys' relics, and talk about them. And what is meaningful. I listen to this podcast called The Moth a lot, and The Moth is a podcast where people just tell stories. They get on stage and they just tell a story, and they're so great. They're always so awesome. And my favorite stories on this podcast are always the super mundane ones, the ones that are totally normal, and it's something that is just a day in the life, a little window into this person's life, and it's nothing spectacular. No one dies. Gosh, they're great. They're just so good. There's one in particular about this taxi driver, and he tells a story about getting this woman to the airport on time, and it's the best. It's absolutely wonderful. It's a wonderful story, just about getting something done and, and dealing with weird people. Oh, it's wonderful. So why I bring this up is um, your relic and your story that is tied to the relic does not have to be one of spectacle, or it doesn't have to be spectacular. Just think simple. Always think simple. Your life is absolutely wonderful, and quite frankly, when you get older, you leave high school, you look back on those times and either just kind of like, huh, okay, and maybe laugh, or maybe you're having a rough time and you want to like think about like where you came from in that rough time. That's totally valid too. But nonetheless, it's important to memorialize something that is not spectacular. Like, we are not Justin Bieber, Buddha, or Jesus. We are just people, and that's perfect. That's all we want to be. Just, your story is totally valid. And I want to hear the stories. I guess I will. I'm going to give you a classroom, it's just not the same. Anyway. So I'm smoothing this bad boy out. I could do this all day. If you, maybe I should just stop the video and finish smoothing out. I'm going to do that. Thanks for listening if you're still listening. Alright, hi, we're back. I've made this all smooth now. So now you should have 2 pinch pots. One of larger diameter, right here, and with your wall hanging situation on it, right there. And another one, smaller circumference, and fits on top just like that. Wonderful. Alright. Now, your relic needs to be placed somehow in your reliquary. Now for my this reliquary here, I made a little bit ago. What I did was I pressed my relic into the top of this. There's a little indent, and so this bad boy will stay, just like that. Now clay shrinks, so I have to take into account for shrinkage. So when you make your indent, just wiggle it around just a little bit, and it should be fine. This reliquary, though, is actually from a rubber band. That was just an example. Again, I want you to take your object and just push it down on the top there. It'll make a little imprint of your object, and that's where it sits. Perfect. This one's rubber band, so I kind of have to figure out how to do that now. I'm thinking it can hang somewhere here, so we'll get to that later. But just for your relic, it might not be something you hang. Press it in to the bottom section of the reliquary. Wonderful. Put that one aside now. This bad boy here. Your relic needs to be easily seen. So here I have a little window for you to see, and then I have on top a hole so light can get through. It kind of creates this cool like spotlight effect on your relic, so that's super fun. So let's do that right now. So I'm gonna take my fettling knife, aka I don't have one, sorry, and I'm going to make my window. When you cut clay, slow down. There's no rush. It's okay. Just take your time moving the knife across the clay. I like doing this in a kind of weird fashion. I'm going to put my knife up. I'm going to set my knife down on top. Boop. There's one little cut in there. I'm going to hold on top of here and gently bring the knife up and then back down. There's up. I'm slowing down, Ned. Alright, cool. Boop. Alright. Now I can remove. Ain't that a peach? Little window. Now you can always make it bigger, so start small if you're a little worried. But that size should be good. Here's card for scale. Ding. Alright. Now I'm going to make the top. The top is a little hole for light, so this is kind of up to you how big it is. I'm putting my knife in, holding my clay, gently making a circle. Is this visible? Not really. You get the idea. Awesome. Ta-da! Now, this might not be a perfect circle, that's okay. You can wet any sort of cylindrical tool you have. The back is. I'm going to use my pin tool because I'm sure your pin tool's a cylinder also. kind of wet it a little bit. And just kind of put it in the hole and swirl it around. Wonderful. I then take my finger and kind of, make it nicer. Anyway, it's now time to attach your top to your base. This is done by scoring. Here's a little tip I found when I was taught. Take your top of this and just dip the bottom of it in water, and then place it on your reliquary where you want it to be. Alright, that's where I want it to be. And then take it off. The water will leave a mark just there. And then you can accurately score where it needs to go. Yeah, I'm scoring now. Get rough with your scoring. This is very important. It needs to be super in there and kind of fuzzy and fluffy. Don't worry about damaging the clay. This can be smoothed out later. I'm then going to score my top. Wonderful. And placed on. When you're attaching two scored objects, you kind of, it's like how do I say this? You're being attentive of the material and being gentle with the material, but you're also being firm. So it's not quick movements, it's wow. Alright, and I kind of like to wiggle it too. Make sure it's on there. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Okay, so now you have your wall attachment piece right there. I have two because I gave a demonstration when I'm going to cover that up. But you have your wall attachment, your flat. Your top is connected to your bottom. You have a little area for your relic. In this case, here's mine. I think I'm going to make a little attachment. Let's just say it's Lego for sake of demonstration. Finesse it in there. Remember, your relic has to fit in there. That's important. There's my Lego. Hooray! There's my phone. And if you see here, a little hole in the top. And that provides a little light source for it. Look at that. Oh, Lego. Cool. So that's fun. Now it's kind of your turn to be creative. I've gotten you this far. No, I did not get you anywhere. You did it all by yourself. Now it's time to kind of make parts. You need to attach three things to this and also integrate texture. Texture can be done by taking the pen tool and just kind of drawing around. Texture can also be done by taking your object and using it for texture. I kind of like doing that. Lego provides really cool texture. So there we go. Just being careful. That wasn't integrated enough. You know what I mean? Stamping in the Lego part right there. I like drawing with this a lot. A lot of little dots are kind of fun. Here's better texture as seen right there. That's a Lego. I went crazy with the cuts. Maybe don't do that. I really like dots though. Dots are my favorite. I know this one's kind of intense. And kind of crusty. I plan to do better on this one. That's like bleh. It's like B work. But nonetheless, I want you to integrate texture. Where was I? Integrate texture and attach three objects. Let's talk about the objects really quick. Objects are made, when I say objects, I mean clay objects. Objects are made just by taking a little bit of clay, rolling in a ball, and then taking it and just kind of slamming it down right here. Take it up, making a little cookie, and you can take that cookie and cut it however you want. I'm thinking I'm just going to do a flat disc, like a little scale situation. Nice. Something like this. Alright, and I think I'm going to put that right here. I like a lot of the reliquaries in art history have something looking up, and I kind of like that notion. When an object kind of like is reaching up towards the sky, I think that's kind of beautiful. So I kind of want to have that in mind. So I know it's simple and kind of abstracted. Nonetheless, it is a thing pointing up. Whatever. So I'm going to take my object. Here we go. Put a little triangle in it. I'm going to score it pretty deeply. I'm going to find a cool spot for it. Maybe right there. Sure. Dip in water so I know where it goes. Leave a little print. Score nice and deep. And securely attach it. I'm putting my finger on the inside of this so it provides some sort of stability. I'm just kind of wiggling it on, pushing. Then I need to seal the object on. I'm going to have it floating off a little bit there. I like that. Alright, sealing. I'm going to take, I like using my credit card or my handy dandy Costco card and sealing it. What sealing means is to rub the clay, smooth it down. So I'm taking two pieces together like this. Let's give a closer demonstration. Let's say something like that, and it's all scored and everything. I'm taking it and then smoothing it down like that. Rough demonstration there. Wunderbar. I'm doing both sides. I then can kind of manipulate this a little bit more. You gotta get crazy with what you attach. I like abstract shapes. You can get maybe a little bit realistic with it. Maybe the objects you're attaching are somehow linked to your object that's in there. Your relic is in there. Maybe objects are attached to other objects. Kind of fun. That's what I'm gonna do. These attachments, guys, this is what we're grading you on if they stick on. We really want you to score. Scoring is so important when you're attaching stuff. I'm one to underscore. I'm one to fourscore. And I can't stress enough how important that is. The good thing about these is that they won't be, potable, which means we won't be consuming or eating any sort of delicious treats out of these. So we could, epoxy it on if it falls off. No problem. But we want to teach you guys scoring technique. There's my seal. Object on an object. Kind of looks like a little house. Fun. Now for texture, let's do a whole bunch of dots like this. Boop, 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 boop. I want you to get experimental, guys. It's fun. You're drawing on clay. When do you get to incorporate texture in the thing? Get sloppy, get messy. That's kind of where I am. I mean, some people are really clean with what they do. I just enjoy like playing. It's way more fun. It's kind of experimenting with texture. Maybe I'll use my rubber band somehow. Let's see, kind of crumple it up, maybe. There we go. That's interesting. Fun. While being careful of my objects. I recommend doing texture first and then objects. All right, so this kind of concludes the necessary demo of this procedure of this object, the reliquary. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions, please email Jakes. I can't get my email set up for some reason. Hopefully I can soon. Thank you for listening again. I know this is kind of long. I hope you followed along. I hope you had fun. I hope you're doing okay at home. Oh, God. Yeah, high school is super fun. I know you guys are going through a rough experience. Might not be rough. It's just different. You got it. Just hang in there. Have a wonderful day. I'm excited to see your reliquaries. I'm really excited. And I get to fire them all, so that'll be super fun. All right. Bye, guys. Have fun. See you